So, if you're a sensitive or an empath, and it comes naturally to you to be vulnerable, or you're willing to try to be vulnerable and to open yourself up, this is noble and courageous. And with other people who are healing, who are emotionally available, or who seek to become available, then usually it's like beautiful fireworks. One light goes on, and then another, and then another. But if somebody that you're interacting with refuses to be vulnerable and actually looks down on you for being vulnerable, this is not a safe person to open up with. I'm in a training program right now that is blowing my mind. I get to work with one of my heroes. And I'm in compassionate inquiry practitioner training with Gabor Mate. And it's causing me to think a lot about through the lens of a survivor, and how through the lens of a survivor, highly sensitive person, an empath, there's just a particular personality type that I feel I can relate. I know my tribe. You're probably watching this video because you relate on some level. It comes naturally to us to want to be vulnerable. And when we're with people who share that quality or even just the desire, or at the very least, but it's actually a really great, wonderful thing indeed, people that can appreciate that vulnerability. And this is a wonderful thing. The problem is there are wolves in sheep's clothing. There truly are. And if you haven't experienced one, I'm glad for you. But at the same time, you're usually the person that says, all you need to do is love somebody enough and we'll all, be in it together. That says to me that you haven't been devastated by a highly manipulative person, by somebody who is capable of using your vulnerabilities against you in such a way you can't even imagine. Or maybe you were mistreated in this way, but you needed to deflect or deny it because it was somebody like one of your parents and you could not see that about them. Or your marriage, and you're just not able to face that and see that about your partner. And so therefore, you encourage everybody to just let down your guard so that we can all love each other. I say, be vulnerable with who feels safe to you, when it feels safe to you. And there are beautiful containers, especially in safe communities and safe groups, where those measures are built in to protect the individual and the group. And one bully can't ruin it for everyone. So there are times when we can be vulnerable, maybe even with people who wouldn't be so safe one-on-one. But if you're with somebody one-on-one and you've tried to be vulnerable, and no matter how you work on your past or heal your trauma, it just feels shitty, honey, please trust that. And remember that not all teachers have experienced everything. Not all concepts are for you. What matters is how you feel. And if it feels like you've tried multiple times to be vulnerable with somebody who can't meet you there, who might actually use that vulnerability against you, who's really been damaging for you, where you can't be authentic no matter how hard you try, please trust that experience. All right? So I also call myself YourLoyalKnight. That's kind of like my artist name. And I call myself YourLoyalKnight from all of my advocacy work to end domestic violence, and something that it's always been a core truth of mine, but it's really sealed in our heart and our brain in that advocacy training, which is, honey, you are your majesty, your sovereign, your ultimate guide and authority, all right? So trust yourself. Trust yourself if you cannot be vulnerable with somebody, if a spiritual teaching or something in a self-development course or book that you're reading just really doesn't apply to you. When somebody doesn't feel right to you, please trust that, okay? Your Loyal Knight, Erin, here for you, absolutely here for you, and shoulder to shoulder with you in this as a survivor and as a sensitive. See you next time.